and welcome to A Celtic World. We are a YouTube channel and a series of podcasts showing off the Celtic worldwide base of supporters. On this show, we focus on the North American side of things, but wherever you are in the world, we are all part of A Celtic World. Sorry, pull my mic out. So right now, we're kind of locked in the doldrums of another international break for Celtic that, they always feel never ending. So finally back at it on Sunday at Dens Park against Dundee. So we got no game to rehash this week like we normally would. So it's the perfect opportunity to introduce another American supporter club over here. And finally, this is our 16th episode, and we are getting to my favorite American CSC. Fenian Bhoys, we call them for some. Others, Manhattan #1 CSC, depending on who you're talking to. So we'll get to them in a second. First, I want to say hello to my partner in crime, Chris. Chris, what's going on?
What's happening?
How's things in Tennessee?
Things in Tennessee.
Same old.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of work, a lot of exciting things.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. And then, so I guess we'll let's welcome our guest tonight, former president of the Fenian Bhoys, and one of my good pals, Robert Parker. Robert, how you doing?
I'm good, Sean. Thank you for having me on here, and Chris, good to meet you. I'm delighted to be here, but I'm doing really good.
Good.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's long overdue, and we've been talking about having you we haven't had any of the New York clubs, any of the Boston club, the Boston club on, and I feel like it's time we really start rolling through some of the East Coast. We've been very Southern and Midwest focused in what we've done so far.
I don't know how you could have done that.
But yeah, Robert's at McCoy's Pub in Hell's Kitchen. Definitely your favorite place from what I've seen.
Yeah,
I tried to.
Apologies. So listen, I was hoping to get home in time to do this from my kind of office in the house, but I didn't manage to get away from McCoy. So I'm currently in the McCoy's office. So McCoy's, if you've ever been to New York, McCoy's is one of the best bars in New York City. It's on 9th Avenue between 51st and 52nd. I'm good friends with the owner, so they allowed me to use the office here. I might steal some stuff before we're finished. I don't know. I'm sitting next to the safe. But yeah, sorry. I meant to be at my desk, but here I am. So this is hastily arranged. But yeah, I'm in McCoy's.
Yeah. Well, that's what me and Chris always say. We love we try to be authentic and just kind of roll with it. And I know that's what we're doing. Sitting in the bar, me and Chris. I'm drinking in my basement. Cheers, everyone. But I guess kind of how we start off when we have new people on is kind of go over their story, how they got into Celtic. What's your start following the club, Robert?
Well, so I mean, you don't really adopt Celtic. I've been intrigued since I lived in the US about franchises that move from city to city, usually which is a kind of a financial or money-driven decision. And I'm a Mets fan. My baseball team is the New York Mets, and why is because you had the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers all fucked off to the left coast because of money, leaving the boroughs of Brooklyn and Queens without a sports team. So you've got kids who've got their favorite baseball, player on a poster on their bedroom wall, all of a sudden distraught, right? Because their sports team just left. And so I adopted the New York Mets because I saw a simulation between how Celtic was formed in 1887 by a Maris priest in the East End of Glasgow because of a necessity, right? And so you had people who were in need of a thing that wasn't kind of predefined, and then that's how the Mets were formed in the 50s. I got into Glasgow Celtic because I was born into it. It's not something you choose to adopt unless you move to another country or whatever. And so my love for the Mets is different to my love for Glasgow Celtic because I was born into it. You don't get a choice. So my grandfather, actually, instead of my father, was the guy who took me to all the Celtic games. He lived in Shettleston, east end of Glasgow, and we would walk to Celtic Park, which was a long ass walk, right? It took us like 45 minutes to an hour to get there. You know, so when you're like 5, 6, 7 years of age, you're walking all this way, but you're with your granda, and then you're going to go see Celtic. And it was just like if that doesn't infect you, right? If you don't feel obligated to be a Celtic fan, but then you go through that experience, it just kind of comes and grabs you. And so my love of Celtic it starts before I grew pubes, and it was fucking. I've never looked back.
Yeah, I mean that's what I guess me and Chris are different, obviously, being that we're over here, and we have our local teams. Like you start like the Mets when you got to New York, and like I have the Phillies, the Eagles, and not as much into the other Philly teams anymore, but like
go Birds.
Yeah. And we turned Robert into a Birds fan.
I should just throw that in here. I'm a Birds fan, and it's no fun being a fucking Eagles fan in New York City. Let me tell you. But I'm flying to Minneapolis on Saturday because the Birds are playing the Vikings on Sunday. So I'm a proper Birds fan. But yeah, sorry.
I know you are. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. But and I think both me and Chris would say it, like our teams over here, like the Eagles and the probably Phillies are like my first love, but like Celtic has surpassed it like by far in every way. Like it's just become it's the people, it's the ethos of the club, the charity behind it, all that stuff just sucks you in, and it's like Chris, I mean, I'm sure you would agree.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% the same way. The reason I quote became a Celtic fan is I don't feel like I woke up one day and chose to be a Celtic supporter, right? Like I know for me, I was super into where my family came from, and when I started finding connections in Ireland and Scotland and all of these things, I like it kind of pulled me in a way that it had never pulled me before, and before I knew it, and I was meeting people in Philly and New York and in Boston and wherever, and I mean in Glasgow when I went to Celtic Park. I mean, it was something that drew me that I couldn't put my finger on, and I'm my wife and I lived in Athens, Georgia for 19 years, and I'm a huge University of Georgia football fan. Have been since I was 10. And it's one of those things that like I feed off of that passion, and Celtic has tripled my level of passion and love of the sport because like Sean said, it's the connections with people, it's the interactions that we have, it's the talking about Celtic on a non-match international break. I mean, this is not something that normal people do. So yeah, I 100% agree that like it's not something that you can control, but like once Celtic takes a hold of you, it takes a hold of you, and there's no other way to see the world otherwise.
No, agreed.
I would 100% agree with that, Chris, because so I like Sean as an example of the numerous friends I have. I would never have friendships with so many people unless it was through Glasgow Celtic, and I've been in New York for 11 years. I spent a couple of years in Philly, And Philadelphia, incidentally, is the town that I would equate most to Glasgow, where I was born and raised. So like it's blue collar, hard working, straight talking, no shit. But when you're a Celtic fan in Philadelphia or in New York, you feel that you can be like authentically a Celtic fan. You're not like you're not in LA pretending to be a Lakers fan because it's cool or it's trendy. You're part of a like it's more than just a small group of folks who have the same interests as you. You're part of a global family. It's like a movement, and here in New York and in Philadelphia, so the Plough and the Stars has, or the Plough Boys in the Plough and the Stars, they do this fairly thing every kind of 2 or 3 years. I think they're having one next year actually, where a bunch of people come from all over to get together and be part of that whole experience and be part of that global Celtic family. It might sound cheesy to people who've never experienced it. It's not cheesy at all, man. It's like it's the best people coming together with a common purpose and having the best time. And I don't see that in any other facet of like folks who follow sports. My wife is a rabid Vikings fan. We were in Croke Park in Dublin 2 weeks ago for the Phillies. Sorry, the Phillies. The Steelers. Sorry, Sean. The Steelers. The Steelers Vikings game because she loves the Vikings, and it was a great experience. But I don't think it compares to any sports experience when Celtic get together, particularly for competitive games. But like even in Notre Dame Stadium, South Bend, Indiana, last year when we played Chelsea, I saw a bunch of my favorite people in the world just to watch us tear the clothes off of Chelsea, albeit it's a friendly. We don't get the luxury of seeing Celtic playing in the US in pre-season tours because historically we've had to like qualify against pub teams from Kazakhstan in June, right? So we don't have the team doesn't have the luxury, and because of the change in the format of the Champions League and the World Cup having been out of sync to the previous year, Celtic were able to come and do a pre-season tour last year, which was luxury for us, but it was also an opportunity for us all to get together. I saw people from Cleveland, Ohio. I saw people from Philadelphia. I saw people from Dallas, Texas, people from LA, from San Francisco, from Seattle. I saw Celtic fans. I had the privilege of getting to know a lot of Celtic folks because when I was the president of the New York Fenian Boys, and I was also, and I'm still involved with the Celtic Football Club Foundation, charitable. I get to meet and engage with all of these folks who support Celtic from all over the country. But then when we get an opportunity all to come together and hang out, and we tailgated, so we were at Notre Dame State, like South Bend, Indiana, we tailgated. So Celtic has never, I think we should introduce tailgating at Celtic Park, right? Not that everybody's going to drive to Celtic Park in a fucking Ford F-150 pickup truck, but we should introduce the concept of tailgating because it was immense. Outside of Notre Dame Stadium, we were all hanging out and drinking beer and then going to watch us, as I say, tear the clothes off of Chelsea. Brilliant. But just to get 10 minutes with the likes of Sean, with the likes of all the folks I've gotten to know over the years, it was precious. I loved it.
Yeah, same. That's what I mean. I treasure those things, like the South Bend. Like I was there, Chris was there. Pittsburgh last year, they did kind of took the place of the Plowboys Philly, and that was a great event. And it just like it's something you circle on the calendar that you're just looking forward to for 6-9 months, like to get there. And like you said, just see all those, just your pals. And and you communicate with them throughout the year on social media and like sometimes calling people and stuff, but like getting together and watching a match and having live music and getting to sing the songs with everybody. I mean, it's priceless for us over here. Like I treasure those weekends, and I can't wait for Philly this year, and then I got to start planning out other stuff. Like, might go to Detroit and
New
Well,
Orleans.
New Orleans.
well, so I was just I'm glad you said that, Chris. So I'll probably see you in Philly in February, Sean. But I definitely want to see you guys in
New
NOLA,
Orleans.
because I didn't manage to get to the last time they did the intermediate Celtic convention, but they did a great job apparently, and so I'm definitely gonna go to New
Okay.
Orleans.
So just getting back to like, I guess you're starting second Celtic. Moving over here, how long have you been over in the States then? Like, it's like probably 20 or so years right now, right?
Well, so it kind of came in two phases. So this time around, I've been here 12 years. But I actually came out uh, about 98 or 99. Memory's fading. I met my now ex-wife in Rocky Sullivan's. And so for anybody who knows the history of our club was founded in Rocky Sullivan's. Rocky Sullivan's was one of the best bars in New York City. It was in Lexington Avenue between 28th and 29th. It had, if you ever saw the movie Trainspotting, the bathroom in Trainspotting was actually the fucking men's room in Rocky's. It was disgusting. There was no kitchen. It was a dive bar. It would have appeared to a stranger to have been a hellhole, but it was heaven, because it was owned by a guy called Chris Byrne. Chris Byrne was the uilleann piper and the bowron player and the whistle player for a band called Black 47, who released, if you remember, in USA 94 when Ireland played in the World Cup in America in 94. Chris launched this side band and released a song called Come On You Boys in Green, which topped the charts. Now, Chris, who's a good friend of mine, wouldn't he wouldn't fall out with me if I was just to say here, it was a fucking terrible song, but it made him a ton of money, and it allowed him to then retire from his day job and come and open this bar called Rocky Sullivan's. And then Rocky Sullivan's was where the New York Fenian Boys, politically correct title, the Manhattan #1 CSC, but the New York Fenian Boys was born in 1998. In 1999, I met my ex-wife just by chance, because I was talking to a guy at the end of the bar. So Charlie and the Boys were playing in Rockies that weekend. I knew Charlie and the Boys. So Charlie and the Boys, they're a rebel band from Glasgow. I knew them because I'd seen them, every other week in Glasgow. They were staying in a hotel in Jersey, dropped their gear off, and then we're going back to the hotel in Jersey to then wherever get freshened up or whatever, and come back and play a gig that night. They saw me at the bar and they're like, "Are you staying here?" And I'm like, "I can. So will you look after our gear?" So like, that was my excuse to stay in the bar all day. This is midday. Midday. My now ex-wife strolls into the place at 9 o'clock at night. So I'm 9 hours in, and I'm drinking shots with every beer. I'm bluttered, and uh, and I met a guy called Tony Quinn. Right, so Tony Quinn was our founding president. Right, Tony Quinn formed with the support of Chris Byrne who owned Rockies, and his business partner. Like they put we needed $5,000 to put a satellite dish on the roof to get the Satanta signal to get the Celtic games. Tony Quinn created the club, brokered the deal to get the dish, and we paid Chris and his business partner back, a guy called Brian, and then like the club started small, built momentum, and grew. And our history was actually we were kind of a splinter club, because in New York City right now there used to be 4 clubs. There are 3 really. There's the Bronx Boys, who are up in Woodlawn, and Ned Devine's great bunch of fucking lads. There's the New York Fenian Boys. We were out of Jack Dempsey's for 25 years, and then our very, very good friend Martina retired, and so the fella who took over from her didn't necessarily see the value, very short-sighted in my opinion, of having a Celtic supporters club in his bar. So we moved to Joe Burns' place, Ernie O'Malley's, just a short time ago. And Joe, so Joe's one of us, right? Celtic fan through and through. But Ernie O'Malley's is right round the corner from Rocky Sullivan's. It's on 27th and Lex, and it's tiny, but it's the same size as what Rocky's was. So it feels like we've come back to our roots. And some people are complaining, we should never have left Jack Dempsey's because it was 4 floors. Well, you know what? We would get packed for a Champions League game. We'd get packed for 100 games.
Oh, lost you there for a sec. We got technical difficulties. Robert, can you hear us?
You get me?
Yeah, you're a little getting a little echoey.
Apologies. It's probably
you're better now.
It's probably my end. But yeah, like, so we found a new home. We're back almost to where we started, but we've now established, like Sean, you were up a bunch of times when we were at Dempsey's. I hope to welcome you into Ernie O'Malley's sometime soon. But like, it feels like we came back home. We went full circle. We grew as a club. I think we became a voice amongst Celtic supporters clubs. Mm-hmm. We did some really valuable charitable contributable stuff with the Celtic Foundation and other kind of good causes. But like, we stuck to our principles. Come to a game, sing what you want. So our start line is freedom of speech, freedom of song. You don't have to be an asshole, right? You don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to offend anybody ever. But let's us celebrate our club, our heritage, what we believe in, and just be a good human being. There's no better place to do it whilst watching Celtic than at the New York Fenian Boys and Ernie O'Malley's.
No, I would agree. And I mean, Dempsey's, like I said in the intro, like, it is my favorite club. Apologies to all the other supporters clubs in the country. And they're all great. You know, obviously they all have their own kind of thing that pulls you in. But for me, like Dempsey's, it was just the vibes at Dempsey's was just always the best. And it is like, it's like you said, freedom of speech, freedom of song, like singing. There was more singing at Dempsey's at any club that I've ever been to. And that's what I want to do. I want to get together with your pals and sing some songs, like win or lose, you know, like I know after Hun matches, you always had live music, a live singer playing after. And like, it really didn't matter whether you won or lost. You kind of, we sang the same really after, no matter what happened during the match. So like, I don't know. I love that place, and like I've taken my boys up there to watch matches. My wife has come up with me a couple times, like, and like we always have a blast. So I'll miss definitely being there, but I am looking forward to checking out Ernie O'Malley's. I was actually in Dempsey's over the weekend, and I'm going to be back there again on Saturday just because it's of location. Taking my son up to take the bus up to school. I'm actually dropping my father-in-law there on Saturday and having Kaylon babysit him basically for an hour. Which should be interesting.
Sean, that sounds like an oxymoron. Kaylon has never babysat anybody in his life. Right? It's usually the other way around. But
yeah. I cleared it with him last weekend, so he said he was ready for it. But let me I'm going to post a couple pictures of Dempsey just because then we can talk about O'Malley. So these are front of the pub, probably post match, and I recognize some of the faces in there. And one of my favorite things, walking up the steps to the third floor, and I love that flag at the top of the steps. It's like my wife has gotten selfies in front of it like almost every time we've gone up there. Like,
so listen, I love that flag too. I've had my picture taken in front of that flag with Martin O'Neill, Brendan Rodgers, Neil Lennon, some people who I shouldn't have had my picture taken with in front of that flag, but like, but yeah, we're very proud of that image, and that image comes back to our Rocky Sullivan's days. So we've never forgot where we came from. There was a mural right next to the worst bathroom in the world that led into the back room in Rockies. That was exactly of that, but there was also a mural next to that of Henrik Larsson, because if you remember, like, so 98, that was his time. But like, yeah, I love that. I love that flag. So we brought it, right. We took it, rightly so, from Dempsey's down to Ernie O'Malley's, and then Joe Byrne, who runs that place or owns that place, like, is doing a great job, and so he's been a good supporter of ours.
I'm just gonna throw a comment up there. Chris, you'll love this one. There's our buddy Tony from Glasgow checking in.
Yeah, I saw that. He texted me just a second ago. Hey Tony, good to hear from you.
And I got a couple more that I wanted to post. Hang on. So this is me and my boys one at a time. I think this was after like a Scottish Cup semifinal against Hibs. Like, thank God they're so small. My kids now they're in college and senior in high school. But so it's like those moments, like along with coming up myself, like I mean, we had the one night where I came up the night before the match and we went all night, me and you.
Well, so good. I mean, that used to be in my younger days. I'm fucking 56 now, right? But like, in my younger days, that was my MO. But Sean and I was like, listen, it's an early kickoff. There's no point in going to bed. Let's just fucking tie one on. And we went out all night. But that was maybe new for you, Sean. It wasn't new for me. But I can't do it anymore. I'm getting too old.
Yeah, I am too. I'm 50, and I feel like I'm definitely too old for that now. I will say, like, I remember when we went to skipping kind of head to like one of those foundation the gala dinners in New York, and we were like pre-gaming at a bar, and like I think you were there, and then it was a bunch of people who I kind of loosely know from being at Dempsey's, and I'm sitting next to the one guy, and he doesn't know him. I think I'm the only guy there with an American accent, and he's like, how do you know Robert? And I was like, oh, well, last time I was hanging out with him, we we pulled an all-nighter before we played the Huns. And you could tell he just gave me, there was like a little bit of a nod of respect. He's like, you did an all-nighter with Robert? Like, good for you. You're one of us. So, And I mean, I know, like, so like I said, it's those kind of just crazy nights, and then I have been able to bring my kids up and my wife up, and it's all the same. Have a blast.
But by the way, Sean, just so since you and I saw each other, I got married again, and uh, my wife could drink me under the fucking table. So there's a new game in town, right?
Impossible.
I'm sure she'd be delighted that I'm sharing that on a podcast. But
yeah, I got to meet her at the last gala dinner.
of course you did.
Right.
Yeah, of course you
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, that was your day. You got married that day, right?
Yeah, we got married that day. So I mean, how committed are you to Glasgow Celtic? I was like, well, I get married in the afternoon, and I went to the Celtic Foundation at night. Like, so yeah, I'd like she knows the rules. Like,
yeah.
so my involvement with the Celtic Foundation goes back a number of years, and I'm kind of really committed to it because, like Celtic, its whole origin, its whole basis has been predicated on like doing good for people. And the Celtic Football Club Foundation, which is run by Tony Hamilton and Jay McGuire and the rest of the team, like they do really good things. When you raise money, right? So if you're a social club, if you're a Celtic supporter club, if you're a group, whatever, and you feel like so you can bring in revenue through membership, subscriptions, selling merchandise, your t-shirts, your koozies, whatever, and you have a surplus at the end of your fiscal year, my view was always to give all of our money to the Celtic Football Club Foundation. Why? Because those people are professionals and they understand how to distribute it to good causes. So you could have some members saying, I want $200 for my kids' school toy drive. I can have this like $500 over here. I think you make an impact with charitable contributions at scale, and none of us are professionals. The Celtic Football Club Foundation, those folks are not just professionals; they're probably the best at what they do in the world. And so I was like, why don't we just give all of our surplus to the Celtic Football Club Foundation and then just sit back in admiration about what they do with it? And then when you go to that dinner, so we have an annual dinner, a fundraising dinner in New York, and they run a video and you see video clips of the projects that your contributions fund, hard not to burst into tears with pride, right? With about what they do. And it's like fundamentally, it's like we are being why Brother Walfred formed our club in St. Mary's all those fucking years ago. It's like it just makes me very proud. So when I stepped back from running the supporters club, and I did that because my very firm belief is that if you run a supporters club, you should be there consistently. And I was traveling for work, I was traveling for life, right? So my girlfriend, fiance at the time, was living in, 2 flights away in the Midwest. So I was like, I can't meaningfully do this. And so I took a guy called Stevie Wright out for a bit of lunch, and I went, hey, listen, you'd be fucking great at doing this. So Stevie now runs the club and he's doing a great job. But the one thing, so if I'm less engaged with my supporters club, I'm still as engaged with the Celtic Foundation because it means an awful lot to me. And it means an awful lot to way more people than me. And like, I'm just a tiny, tiny little cog in the machine, but I think they do an absolutely fantastic job of taking the goodwill of people from across the world and focusing it on really worthy causes and making a real difference. And
Yeah.
I'll be forever proud of whatever I've done to date, whatever I might do in the future. I love it.
Yeah.
Here,
I'll
here.
throw another comment from Tony up there, and this is true. Only people I trust in the club these days is the Celtic Foundation. And it's mildly true, but they do. I mean, and I'm the same as you, Robert. Like at that dinner, and like you said, watching that video, and it just pulls it all together. And then beyond that, like it does connect you to the club. Just again, like getting to see those pals again that you're don't get to see a lot during the year. This year you had Chris Sutton there, getting to see him and talk to him a little bit was just unreal. Like,
Are you
and
coming? Are you coming to the Chris Sutton night? We're having one. We have him over here in Ernie's next month. I'm
send me
not
the
sure.
details. I had not even heard about it, so send me the details. I would love to, because like he's one of my all-time favorites. And I told him that night when I met him, like you scored the first goal I saw live for Celtic in Philly. Like they played a friendly
That's
against
right.
Manchester United.
I
Community
remember you telling
penalty.
me that story. Yeah.
So that's
Well,
that's one of those things that always sticks with me. Like,
I'll send you the details. We've got. I think it's a
okay,
Friday night. It's like it's a Q&A and
okay,
that type of stuff. But I'm sure it'll be good fun.
yeah, no, that sounds great. I would love to do that. And I got to get back. And I told my wife I want to bring her to the New York dinner, because I think I think it would be good for her too, like getting to see like that connection to the charitable side of things. Like for her, it's just me. Like she sees me on the couch watching them. She sees me go to the bar to watch them, and
Listen,
like
it,
it
it's a good strategy. So both my wives American. So you got to go and say, hey, this is why Celtic's important. If so, my first wife's experience of Celtic was me falling in the door at fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, hammered drunk, with kebab meat on my Celtic shirt, having coming like driven 4 hours from the game. I wasn't drinking and driving, by the way, but anyway. And so when I brought Erica, my wife, to the Celtic dinner, she's like, I had no idea. I had no idea that this meant so much, that it was so impactful, that it was so meaningful. I thought it was just you and a bunch of your dumb Scottish, Irish, American drunk friends screaming at a TV at 7 o'clock in the morning. And like when she gets to witness what we do and where we come from and what our history consists of, like she instantly became a Celtic fan. I'm like, my wife's a Celtic fan.
yeah,
One by one, just converting
yeah,
one by one.
yeah. So Chris, you got to go to the foundation dinner in South Bend. I'm like you probably had that same
Yeah, I mean,
feeling. Like,
I had given money virtually to them before, whether it was at Celtic Park, they were doing a fundraiser outside, and whatever. But like to see it and actually be at the dinner where they talk about the things that they were doing, and they run those video clips, and you hear people talk about the way the support has impacted people that you would never know, and just to hear those stories and how much charitable goodwill goes into it. I mean, yeah, it is. It was very eye opening. Especially since for me, like I don't have a regular CSC that I go to, so everybody I know is scattered all across the universe. So it was being able to actually sit in front of somebody that's telling me all of the good works the foundation actually does, and I hadn't had that experience before until Notre Dame. So I think ever since then I've been even more driven to have that meaningful impact, because that's what the club means to me is what Brother Walfred stood for, and what the ethos of the club is that's what I want to follow, and getting to experience a gala dinner in New York or in at Notre Dame or whatever. It really cemented, kind of where I saw myself in this, as you said, Robert, that I'm just a cog in a wheel, and if I can just do one thing in that wheel, then that's something that I need to do, and so that was really impactful for me, for sure.
Yeah, those kind of events it brings me closer to the club. Like every time I do one of those things, I mean, beyond Celtic Foundation events especially, but like even like the Phillies and like me and you, Chris, getting together in Boston or Cleveland, any of those things, like those things, just like I said, they're my like favorite things I do during the year. Favorite things to put on the calendar.
Did you meet? Oh shit! This is shame on me. So I used to go to Cleveland fairly regular, and I met with. We went to Jose McIntyre's.
PJ McIntyre.
PJ McIntyre's, and what's his name? Who runs the club? Fucking
Jim.
Beautiful Jim.
Jim Vinecourt.
Jim Vinecourt is one of the most, like, you feel like Jim's been Celtic through and through. Like Jim's probably the same age as me, but you're like, how the fuck did you get involved with Celtic? What, like, and then you meet him. And the whole
I will
that I ever came across.
Oh, agreed. And I have the same. We've hung out with him a couple times now over the years. I've been to Cleveland to the CSC like 2 or 3 times now, and like just get treated like gold every time I'm there. Like he ends up buying all my drinks all morning, and like I'm like, come on, you don't need to do that. Like I'm here to, like, and I mean the last time when me and Chris went, like he said, we did like a brewery crawl throughout Cleveland, and he set up like drivers to take us around everywhere, and like they just go overboard for the out of town, and he was in South Bend too, and like so we got to
Jim's he's a great guy, really great guy.
We had him on last week, so he was on the show.
Oh, you did?
Week. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I love Jim and love that CSC, and that's what we all like. And that's when I say, like, I hate to say the Fenian Bhoys is my favorite CSC because, like I said, they all kind of I love them all for different reasons. And he always calls himself the pound for pound best CSC in the United States.
So no, I would give him that. I would give him that award. Absolutely.
You guys are a heavyweight. You guys are a heavyweight. So
yeah. That's brilliant. I'm now listening to so Sean, you caught up with me yesterday. Last night I was at an awards dinner thing with an open bar. I didn't go home till like 4:45 this morning, and then I got to work at 11. Right, should have been there at 9, but I didn't get to the office until 11, and I was in the bar by 11:45 having a cure. Right, I had 3 Bloody Marys, and then I was in here in McCoy's just to try and get set for this. But now, like, I'm feeling great. I think I could do if there was a decathlon event in Hell's Kitchen, I would take it on. But now I'm like, I'm even more empowered. So now I'm going to start. Off.
You're a kid in a candy store.
Yeah. And so Paul Kiernan is a Cavan man. So Cavan is the most miserable fucking county in all of Ireland. Like, so if Paul dropped a quarter, it would fucking hit the back of his head when he would bend down to pick it up, right? He's a miserable fucker. But now I want to start drinking these fucking booze. I don't know where to start. But I'm looking at it and it's all fucking cheap, right? So I don't know.
Dig in.
I'll finish this one.
What are you drinking now? Bud Light?
So here we go, right? So Sean and I would go drinking when I lived in. So Philly is the best craft beer town in America, apart from what's the place? It's about an hour north of Denver. There's like 56 breweries and only fucking 10 people live there. But when I would live in Philadelphia, Sean and I would go out. I was the big IPA guy in Philly, and I moved back to New York. And then I started dating my now wife, and she's like, "Oh, have you tried Mick Ultra? It's low carbs and low, like it's like low carbs and only 95 calories." I'm like, "Is that your polite way of calling me a fat prick? Like, what the fuck?" But she managed to switch me onto Mick Ultra. So sadly. I drink Mick Ultra in McCoy's because their IPAs aren't really that great in here. There's a bar down the street called Deacon Brody's, and all their IPAs are fucking 10%. So if I don't remember how I got home, it means I was in Deacon Brody's. So I'm switching between my wife's preference that I drink the diet beer, and then going to Deacon's and going, fuck it, I'll drink whatever they've got.
We got to get you back down to Philly then and have a nice little brewery call. If you go to the Philly, we're doing that. Chris, you're coming too.
Okay.
So Sean, what was the place? We went to a place that sold a Belgian.
It was
Well, it's that Belgian pub that's like right around the corner from the Plow.
No, this was around the corner from Fado, actually. Monks. Yeah, and it's one of the best beer bars in the world, really. Like, it's phenomenal. Like,
I'm going.
all right, get
like IPA sort of bar crawl spaces. It was nuts. But that stuff, like, you're drinking now you're drinking 12% shit, and like you don't know what day is up.
I've gotten away from
Celtic.
I've gotten away from the 10% stuff. I keep it down to the 8.5 is my go-to. I think this one I'm having is 9 right now. So, but I'm not drinking a lot. I'm only having 1 or 2. So we're allowed to get away from Celtic a little bit. That's kind of, we try to mix it up a little bit. But the one thing I would like, going back to the foundation, and I think we need to do this again. I had a blast the 2 times we did it, was the walk through Manhattan when we did the one we started up at like up by the cloisters, I guess, and walked all the way down. And then we started at Yankee Stadium. That was legit.
Yeah. So the Yankee Stadium walk, like, that broke a few people, but so I planned the route. I wanted to walk 18.88 miles. And the way that the route was working, I ended up having to turn it into kilometers. But so the way I planned it, it was like from step to step to step. And we did 18.88. So the old 1888 reference kilometers. And we stopped at, and I was like, you can't ask people to walk that much without stopping for a refreshment. But my refreshments don't contain any water, right? They're all just boozers. And so we went to fucking a bunch of boozers. And by the time we got to about the 3rd or 4th boozers, they were dropping like flies. Not because they were knackered from the walk, but because they were fucking hammered. They were dehydrated and drunk and falling off. But yeah, that was a So, like, I don't remember how much money we raised for the Celtic Foundation, and actually Tony Hamilton and Jamie Maguire walked with us. But that, to me, was more about camaraderie, like the folks that we had. The guys from Texas flew up, like
Yeah.
like so it was all the clubs coming together and us doing something for the foundation, but just spending the whole day together, which was awesome. You build
Yeah.
friendships and relationships, and it was like I'm not like I'm not in charge of that shit anymore. I would definitely support it if somebody else was to go
Yeah.
take the reins. But like, yeah, I miss
I
that
might
stuff.
I might try to do that because I'm not as good at the walking. I remember I totally remember that day. We stopped at a bar down in Lower Manhattan, and like I had my Fitbit on, and you're like, this was 18.8 kilometers. I'm like, yeah, I think we're good. Like, and and you turned around like Sean's a professional walker. Like, we
Yeah,
did it. Like, let's go
we
to
wrote
Dempsey's.
off we wrote off the last step, and then we just went back to the boozer.
We took the subway back up to Dempsey's from there, and Stevie Dodds was with us, played some music. I remember, and like
Stevie, oh man, I haven't seen him for years. He's a grandfather now.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, same
wow.
here. So those are things, and like I said, again, that's like the big events like the Philly and those charity events. Like it all just sucks you in, and it's what I love about Celtic.
Robert, how many people do you get consistently for matches at Ernie O'Malley's?
So consistently is a difficult um like prospect to address what we get. So um you couldn't count the number that came to the last Huns game because you couldn't fit a credit card in a place, right? We were packed, but it was good.
I can't imagine how looking at the videos of the place and like how you guys can, because Dempsey's got knobbed, and I was there for the last game of last season against them, and it was packed at Dempsey's that morning. Like,
Well, I mean, like way back in the day, right? So I remember, like, so Dempsey's has 4 floors. We never really used more than three, but I remember one game. I can't remember what year it was, what season it was, but we had to open all 4 floors. So the place was fucking rammed. Like, so we must have had 400 supporters in. And but I would say at that point, because we like our social media strategy worked really well. We advertised it very well. So like a significant proportion of that number of folks that came in were tourists. And that's like it's a good thing to have because we get a lot of visitors from Scotland and Ireland come to New York. New York is an attraction in and of itself. Nobody comes just to go to a Celtic pub. But if we can tap into that market, it makes a huge difference. And so but all that, like I feel like I've gone back like 10 years. It's been a long time since we were able to do that. COVID changed everything. Celtic TV changed everything. Streaming services changed everything. You can now watch Celtic games on Paramount Plus, on CBS. And I think that the mantra of a Celtic supporters club isn't, if you think about it, right? So when we were formed back in the day, you could only procure the license or the rights to watch a streaming game on Setanta through the North American Federation of Celtic Supporters Clubs, which is a cabal up in Toronto. Some really good people as part of that group, but like they controlled access to TV rights for all of the North American supporters clubs. That was wrong. Nobody recognized it was wrong. And so when we started negotiating our own relationships with Celtic TV, so we had direct access, have to be part of that North American Federation. So we've been showing streams on Celtic TV for at least 12, maybe 15 years. But as an aside to that, the to the detriment of the social aspect of running a club is that it's just too easy now to sit on your couch or at 7 a.m. be in your bed and watch a game on your telly because you can get it through some other streaming service or a subscription to Celtic TV or whatever. And what people, I think, are missing out on is that social aspect. Of course, it doesn't help that we're showing games at 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, those guys on the West Coast, God bless them, right? So they're just staying out and then going to watch a game at 4 a.m. But in an ideal situation, we'd have the value, right? People would see the value in having the social connection and the camaraderie of being part of a Celtic supporters club. And even if they could get it at home, on their couch or in their bed, they'd still want to get up, get showered and dressed and come to the club and hang out with people who are like-minded.
Yeah.
But you can't tell people what to do. It's just that's what it is.
Right. Well, I mean, Chris is an hour behind us even, so he's going to be a 6 a.m. kickoff on Sunday.
Kickoff. And it's,
That's
like I said, I don't have a club that I can, drive to at the moment. So it's easy for me to hit the snooze and then watch it at 9 a.m. after I, get up and do whatever I got to do in the morning first thing. So yeah, I'd totally get it.
Yeah.
But if I had a club to go to consistently, I would be there with bells on, and there wouldn't be, no complaints from me because, like what you just said, it's a social connection, and if you have that and you consistently have it, it's that's what really drives you to be a part of any CSC, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, Chris, if you ever get the opportunity to drag your southern ass way up to the big city for a game, hit me up. I'll look after you, right?
I think I would probably fly if I could. that's a good 11 to 12 hour drive for me.
Well, come on up, man. We'll look after you, right?
Yeah, I'd come up for that. I'd come up for that definitely too.
Well, you would be driving me up there, so
yeah, I could do that. Fly into Philly, I'll drive it up. It's like easy. I'm going up there. I've been up there last weekend. I'll be back this weekend. So, I got a couple pictures from O'Malley's. I just want to throw up too because. So that's the front of the pub. Again, that amazing flag. Love that thing. Was that the Hun match, possibly, Robert?
If it was, I'm not in the picture and I'm inside, so it might be in a different game. But I was like, so do you want to hear my strategy for that game?
Yes.
So my wife was looking at me and she's like, "You dumb fucker," right? So I was like, "Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out. I'm going to come to McCoy's, where I am right now. I'm going to go home at 8 p.m. You're like, "You're never going home at 8 p.m." I did. And I set my alarm for 3 a.m. And then I jumped in an Uber. I went down to Ernie O'Malley's. I got there at 4 a.m. And we had a lock-in. And I drank through the night. And then kick-off was at 7 a.m. I don't remember leaving the place. And everybody is like, "So how did that strategy work out for you, dipshit?" Right? Like, I'm like, I don't want to miss the game. Well, you didn't miss it, but like you missed everything else after it, right? Like we had music on. I get carried out into a fucking cab. So yeah, I know, 25-year-old me, I was doing the 48-hour shift. I wouldn't miss the game. I'd be up front, punching the ceiling, singing the songs. I just can't do it anymore. But
I mean,
I
that's
got
the
a
one thing
cab.
I remember, like the night we did the night before that when I was up there for that whole night. The time frame, I remember getting into Dempsey's and we did the same thing. Like we had to get, it was after 4 a.m. They had to you had to like call ahead to get to let us in, and then we were locked in for the rest of the night. Like that time from like 4 a.m. till kickoff, like I have no record. Like I'm like, how did it get to that? I'm like, did I go down to like the second floor and take a nap? I don't like. It's possible. I don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was a good night and a good day. That was the Edward winner at Ibrox with 10 men, which
That's right.
is a classic like Celtic win for me. So 3-2. So that was all
great
part
game.
of that like perfect. I think I got into the city at like 9 or 10 p.m. the night before. I watched the Wolf Tones at Connolly's. And then I met up with you after that. So like, I mean, it was just a perfect like 15, 16 hour shift I put in. But yeah, amazing night.
Yeah. Back in the days.
Yeah. So we got Dundee this weekend. Any thoughts on like quick preview? What's your prediction? I mean, who knows? I feel like you don't know what you're going to get from Celtic these days. How do you think it's going to go, Robert?
So you don't, and actually, do you know what? Dens Park could sometimes be a tricky place to go. They're not in good shape right now. I'd be shocked and super disappointed if we didn't come away with a 2-goal margin victory. But to your point, Sean, like we don't know what version of Celtic we're getting. Came in, came out, and so what I want is a bit of stability, right? I want the people who we would consistently rely on to come and perform. I want Mira to take his goal from 2 weeks ago as a platform to go bounce back into being Mira, because we've not had Mira for, I think, 6 or 8 weeks. Whenever there was conjecture about him apparently asking like for an exit from the club, just hasn't been in it. But you saw his reaction to his goal. I'm like, that's the Mira I want. I want Mira to go score 2 goals at Dens Park, and then I want something to come from what we haven't expected. Like we can't, like we're getting stale, so I want somebody to step up. I want somebody to surprise us, take control of the game, bang a fucking goal in, celebrate it like it was the fucking Champions League final. But this, it's a must-win game. This sounds ridiculous, being away to Dundee this early in the season. But when you're 2 points behind fucking Hearts, and by the way, Hearts will trip up too.
Yeah,
But like,
definitely.
we can't afford to give up any ground. Who cares about the Huns? Fuck the Huns. But like, we need to maintain our standards, but not maintain the standards that we're operating at right now. We need to get back to the standards that we were at 12 months ago. Let's get back up there. Let's have some players step up, and then we'll see. I'd love a goal route, but I'll just take a win right now.
Yeah.
But I think it's a two-goal margin win away to Dundee.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I kind of see it as a 2-0, 2-1, something close to that. I mean, from all indications, everybody's relatively healthy. I saw that Alistair Johnson is back to training, so kind of surprising and good and everything. But I'm really hoping that we took the international break to make some changes and kind of change some things around. But you know, I'm hesitant to say that we're going to go out there and do the things that we need to do. It's just tough, you know, because we don't know exactly what we're going to get whenever we get it. So
Yeah.
I fully expect to win, but at the same time, you know, Dennis Park can be tricky. So, you know, we gotta go get it. I think the Georgia term is GATA, gotta, right? Go after it, get after their ass. So
Yeah.
that's what we got to do.
I think an early goal would be just because we just haven't gotten that at all.
Agreed.
Like an early goal can kind of get the flow going, like and I feel like we're just 25 minutes in and we're struggling to do anything, and then it becomes we're chasing a goal, and that's when I think we struggle. So like I think if we got an early goal, you could really see a flood of goals then. But like you said, who knows? They haven't done that in forever, so it'd be nice to get it started up this weekend.
Agreed.
Yeah. So one other thing I wanted to throw up. The Celtic World channel is trying to get. We're trying to. I don't know if anybody's watched the Gavin and the boys on Monday. They had the Celtic Fans Collective on, and they're trying to get together to do a little thing for all our Celtic World people. Being that we're not in Glasgow, we're not in the city. Try and show that the Celtic support throughout the world is concerned with what is happening with the club and what is happening with the board. And I'll put it up. This is the everybody's taking pictures in their location, holding up this sign. So we have a couple from our little group here in the Celtic World North America. So I did one in my little bar in my basement. That picture right there on the bar there is from Tony. He's been watching tonight, and half of your painting there, Chris.
Yeah, half of the painting.
Yeah, I didn't get that whole thing in there. And then Stevie from Atlanta sent us one in too. So if you can get one in, I think they're going to try to put together a video to send over to the Celtic Fans Collective and try and get that a little something rolling there. But if anybody needs the picture, let me know. Reach out to me on social media and I can send that over to you. But
Sean, if you struggle to route any of that stuff to the right folks, I've got some lines of communication into the people who run the CSA and who are heavily involved in all of the.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be up this weekend and dropping my father-in-law off at Dempsey's. So I'm gonna take a couple pictures at Dempsey's too with my my son and my father-in-law, so we can add that to the collection.
Oh, I'll be in Minneapolis wearing green.
Yeah. Good job. Go Birds.
Yeah, go Birds.
And go Celtic. Well, good having you on the show, Robert. We need to do it again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Appreciate it, Robert.
It's definitely overdue. And we got to get together for some IPAs. I'm not drinking Mick Ultras, so but
it's all right. When you're in town,
we'll do a little.
I'll go drink. Yeah, I'll go drink the grown-ups. I'll drink the grown-ups drinks when you're in town. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So and then we'll be back next week, probably on Wednesday night, I think. But we kind of been jumping back and forth between Wednesday and Thursday. And then so hopefully 3 points at Dens Park this weekend would be lovely. And then we can have some positivity to talk about next week. I feel like it's been doom and gloom every time we're rehashing games, even though we're winning some of them, but it's just been ugly. And so a nice 4-5-0 would just be Beautiful.
All right,
But
cool.
so we're gonna wrap it up there. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on, Robert. Chris, I'll talk to you. Hail, hail, boys. Cheers.
Hell, hell, hell.